Hello all, good morning. Please someone confirm whether am I audible or not.
Good morning, Suresh.
Yeah, good morning.
Good
Let's
morning.
start the today's session. So just for a brief about the yesterday session, yesterday in the sense on Monday we have taken the demo session. Just let me give you a glance on it. In the demo session, just I have gone through what is Dynamic 365 and terminology based. I mean to say in the market how they are referring this Dynamic 365, as there is a lot of confusion in the market. Just to make you understand, Microsoft CRM, Dynamics 365 and D365, everything is same. They are referring it as in these three ways. And later we have discussed what is CRM before knowing about Dynamics. I just given some information about like what is CRM, what is customer relation. CRM is nothing but customer relationship management, and what type of companies are going to use this customer relationship management and why they need to use this CRM. And to make you understand, so what are the different companies or different applications we have in the market about the CRM that we have seen: Dynamics CRM, Salesforce, Oracle, SAP, and so on. So these are some of the CRM applications which we are seeing in the market. And of course, Zoho and Sugar CRM is almost out of the market. And regarding the positions, I explained what is the marketplace by Salesforce or Dynamics CRM, and I have explained why the Salesforce is in the first position and what the how the future for Dynamics CRM, that I just given with the public facing documents statistics which the companies posted. So as we could see, year-on-year growth is more when compared to the Salesforce. So Dynamics CRM, I mean, this information will help you to understand. They're going to have the lot of opportunities in the future as well. So this is going to be an important. They're going to have huge market in the coming years as well. So in the consultant perception, we are good to go with Dynamics CRM. I mean to say, you no need to check back for the different platforms after a couple of years. After working for 3 to 4 years, you no need to switch for the different platforms. You will have good life until, I mean to say, until your retirement, you can go with the Dynamics CRM happily. Just by enhancing your skills. I mean to say, as you know, they keep on introducing the updates and all. For every year, there will be two major updates. You need to be familiar with these updates, what's happening with the Dynamics CRM, so that you will be in the same Dynamics CRM career throughout your career. Of course, in the today's session, we are going to talk how this Dynamics CRM is going to update and all. But just to give you a glance on it, as it is like cloud-based, not only CRM, the Dynamics CRM, Salesforce CRM as well. As it is cloud-based, they'll keep on updating their products, or they keep on adding their new functionality as per the customer request or as per the research and development by their teams. So that as a consultant, we should be aware of that, the recent releases and all. We should be brushing up our knowledge on that. I will explain you where you need to check and how you are going to get this information. That I will going to explain you in these sessions. And regarding the first and second position, why the Dynamics CRM is something lagging while comparing with the Salesforce CRM, I just given some points here to make you understand the basic high level understanding. Here, the main thing is Dynamics 365 is like single tenant architecture, whereas Salesforce is like multi-tenant architecture. So the same space or the same server or the same configurations, I mean to say, the same resources will be shared by different customers in the Salesforce, whereas in Dynamics 365, it is like unique or independent. From customer to customer, they will allocate different tenants for the Dynamics CRM. That's one of the major reason where the licensing is cost is more cost while compared to the Salesforce. And these are some of the industries where CRM applications are frequently used. And coming to the integrations part, as you know, if you are working on any software, that should have some flexibility where it should allow you to customize or integrate with the other products. As you know, nowadays, many people, that's not mandatory. Like now, let's say if the same example which we discussed in the BMW yesterday, that's not mandatory that they need to follow. They need to use everything with the Dynamics CRM or Microsoft, right? As per their requirement, they can also use other modules so that the whatever the application you are providing, that should have some flexibility where you can integrate with the other products as well. So in the integrated integration perspective here in the dynamic CRM, it is like very much easy. I mean to say it's like UI based integration. Mostly you have like UI based integration. UI based integration in the sense where you can go while you are installing some applications, right? Next. In that way, you keep on going, right? In that way, it is like very minimal configuration things is there for the integrations part. That's is an biggest, I mean to say, advantage for the consultants or the persons who are going to work with the dynamic CRM. And dynamic CRM available in two ways. One is like cloud based, that is online, and the other one is offline. Offline, not offline, I mean to say the on premise. On premise, where the companies will maintain their own server in their premises. They will have their own resources regarding the bandwidth or firewalls or antivirus, everything taken care by the companies. That comes under on-premise. Of course, 90% plus customers are moved to cloud. Just yesterday, given an example of Wells Fargo as well, the bank, US-based bank, which is like highly sensitive or highly security bank, where they are also moved to the cloud-based by the trust, as they have the trust with the Microsoft and all. That's how the security concepts are. Everything is maintained by the dynamic CRM. And coming to this dynamic CRM, just to have one more step in deep into the dynamic CRM. In dynamics, after knowing the CRM, I just make you understand. I try to make you understand. In dynamic CRM, there is two things. One is customer engagement, and another one is finance and operations. And customer engagement, where we have these are the applications in the customer engagement which you need to learn or which you need to understand the flow there. And coming to the finance and operation, these are the applications where the consultant should be aware of in order to work with the clients or your projects. And coming to the job perception, which I mentioned, there is like different job roles there. That is Dynamic 365 CE functional consultant and CE technical consultant, where C# code and JavaScript is mandatory for the technical consultant. Whereas for the functional consultant, it's not required, but after developing a plugin by using the C#, how you are going to register that plugin in Dynamic CRM, that information should notes to should have knowledge that knowledge should have with the functional consultant. So for that, I'm going to cover how you are going to register the plugins in Dynamic CRM that we are going to take care in this particular sessions, and also the JavaScript, the basic level of JavaScript, which I'm going to cover in the functional consultant. And if you want to go with the technical consultant, as I said, C# code and JavaScript, you should have some good knowledge, at least intermediate level knowledge you should have with the C# code and JavaScript. And same for the F&O as well. Of course, this is not my topic. Just as you are entering into the Dynamics 365 CE, you should aware why, because you are going to share the data, you are going to work with this application, and the same with the same for the same customer. There will be F&O consultant as well, where they are doing some operations in the backend regarding the financial matters or regarding the invoices and all. So they are going to use this F&O to have that particular functionality. So F&O is like, just to make you understand, in the same F&O as well, there is two types of job profile which you could see, functional and technical. Here they need to have X++ is the coding language which they need to understand. And coming to the courses and all, this is what actually we are discussing in the yesterday's session. Today, let's discuss something like some more. I will make you to understand. For now, you just have the knowledge of what is CRM and what is 365 or not. So before starting with the CRM, let me make you understand like what actually how we are going to start with the CRM. Now let's say the same example yesterday we have taken the BMW here, right? Now let's say BMW currently they are following, just taking an use case scenario here, just to make you understand. Now let's say BMW is going with the manual process where they are not using any softwares, so that with the manual, with the based upon depending upon the human, they are doing their operations. As you know, if you are depending upon the humans, there will be like human errors, as well as it is like time taking process. And if that resource is not if that resource is in vacation, then that particular lead or that particular process will be hard. There itself it will be there will be no progress on that particular lead. There may be many challenges for the manual process. So if they want to switch to the dynamic CRM, so what is the first step they need to follow? So what is the first step they need to understand? For that, first we need to understand the licensing guide. So for that, D365 licenses we need to understand. So here coming to this Dynamic 365 licenses, of course, as a consultant, you may not required to understand what is the cost of Dynamic CRM or what is the licenses and all. But primary information, basic level information, you should understand. Why? Because once you are logged into the system or once you are into any project, there may be a user story which is assigned to you, asking to create an user in the system and assign some licenses to the user. So you should understand this terminology. What is licenses and what type of licenses we have in Dynamics 365? What is the minimum prerequisites required to assign to the user in order to have license to provide access to the system? So to start with this thing, so just giving here you can check in the Google. It is like a public facing document. You can also download later in the Google thing and all. Dynamics 365 license guide. So here you can get some download. So this is how the Dynamics CRM will place this licensing guide in the public facing document. And this is about not only for the CE, both C customer engagement and finance and operations. Here you could see some information just to make you just to understand, make you understand how you are going, how you need to check these options and all. Here, as I said, Dynamics 365. Here you could see customer service, contact center, customer insights and all. So if there is any new offers, they will display like this. And this is the some of the content. If you see, there will be lot of stuff with the Dynamics 365. Just you need to bother about you. If you could see the Dynamics 365 Business Central and Commerce, there is like different things. So you no need to bother all this stuff and all. Just go with the sales, service, and marketing and field service. Now, if you take this field service, so here it will explain you like field service connects and empowers field based. Here it will provide you the whatever the access you are going to get with these licenses and all. Here you could see these are the options. If you have this field service license, here you could see the tables create. That means now let's say account is a table. Of course, this is early stage to make you understand the tables and all. Just to give you an overview or glance on it. Of course, again we are going to discuss on all these parts. Just to give you an overview. Now let's say if I have the field service team member license, right? This team member is a license, field service license. That means with the field service team member license, I'm not going to have any access on the account table. I can't create a record, I can't update a record, or I can't delete a record on account table. This is tables, right? Account table. So if I have the field service license, I have the access to create, update, or delete record on the accounts table. This is how you need to decide. I mean to say, in your application for your user, if the user would like to work on these particular tables, right? If they want to create cases, if they want to work with the customer, like customer service thing, and that user should have this field service license. But this team, if you are going to purchase the team member license, then these particular options will not be available. This is how the basic level understanding of how to purchase the license and all. Of course, your top management will decide, your management or architect they will decide which license they should purchase, and that is like basic level where when they start to use this Dynamics 365. So these are the licenses which they will purchase and they will assign to the users and all. Maybe you may not get the chance to purchase this licenses and all. That's totally billing department where we are going to see this licensing and all. Let me add this licensing guide. This is the link there. So I'm just adding this link in the notepad so that you can go through this licensing guide after the class, so that you can get some basic level. Of course, you just go through like paper reading, random. You just scroll it so that you can understand like what actually the licenses there and all. If you have time, you can go it. Otherwise, you can also ignore. That's not going to affect you in any way, right? And coming to this Dynamics 365, now if you have the licensing information and all, what would be the next action plan? First, for every organization or for every software, there should be some admin centers where you can have some admin activities, right? And here the admin centers in the Dynamics 365 throughout your career in Dynamics CRM, we are going to see three types of admin centers in Dynamics 365. That is, one is Power Platform Admin Center. We are going to call it as PPAC in short form. That is sorry, Power Platform Admin Center. This is the one of the admin center which you are regularly using. And then the other one is M365 Admin Center. And then one more, Azure. These are the three admin center which you are regularly working in the Dynamics CRM. This Azure is like very limited thing. Hardly you will use Azure, but this Power Platform Admin Center and Microsoft 365 Admin Center are the three admin centers which you are going to see in your regular activity. So why these three admin centers is required? As I said, Microsoft, there will be a lot of products they are selling here. There are a lot of products they are selling, right? Here in this admin center, especially in this Microsoft 365 admin center, it talks about not only Dynamics 365. If you want to have the purchase of your Windows operating system or your Outlook, your MS Office, everything, the SharePoint, everything, their products, everything you can manage in this Microsoft 365 admin center, right? And this Power Platform admin center is the place where actually your Dynamics 365 information talks about. So to start with this admin center, to start working with these instances or this admin center, you should be aware of some of the terminology here. The terminology is most important. I mean to say, once you are stepping into some new software channel, the terminology is very important. Maybe you are planning to go with 2 years or 3 years or 4 years of experience. The terminology what you are using is most important. So the basically before going to this admin center, try to understand some of the terminologies here. One is regularly we used to call it as tenant and environment. And instances, organization URL, and what else? Geo ID and deployment. So these are the regular terminology which in your daily day-to-day activities or your in your team meetings or while you are working with the system. These are the some of the regular things which you are used to use these words in your admin centers or while you are working in your Dynamics CRM. So what actually this terminology? Before to understand this admin center, what is tenant? Tenant is nothing but now let's say this BMW has decided to go with the licenses. They have this licenses knowledge. They have connected with one of the salesperson of Microsoft and they have suggested some licenses and all, right? So once they purchase the licenses, what will happen? They need to create an account in the Dynamics CRM, right? They need to create an account in the Dynamics CRM. So what is the place to create an account? For that, we have a create a trial version. I will explain you that. We need to create a trial account. In this trial account, once you create an username and password with your phone number or email ID, right? It will allocate some space to that user, to that customer. Microsoft will allocate some space where actually they can create their instances or they can create their organization URLs. That place is nothing but the tenant. So in the demo session I just explained, right? It is like single tenant architecture. So that means if as a Suresh, if I created some trial account or if I purchase some license with the Microsoft, they will allocate some space to me, right? They will allocate some space to me that space or whatever I'm going to work with the Microsoft, wherever my data or wherever my configurations, everything is there, that place we are going to refer it as tenant, right? For each and every tenant, there will be some different ID. As you know, for each and everything, the system will maintain some ID. That means you will have some unique tenant ID. So whenever if you have any issues with your product, you are going to raise a ticket to the Microsoft with this tenant ID only, right? Then what is this environment? The environment is nothing but, let's say you have created one organization URL. Now let's say I have like BMW w.crm.dynamics.com. So this is my environment. So whatever the instance or whatever the thing I'm going to create to work to access my system, and right, This bmw.crm.dynamics, if I create some, so I need to create some instance or environment. This is nothing but your environment. And what is this instance? Instance is nothing but, now let's say in this environment, I may have like multiple applications like sales, service, and all. This is your environment will consist of lot of things. And what is instance? Instance is nothing but I'm going to create a separate instance for separate application. Now let's say here I'm going to create the as per your requirement. I don't want to have all the applications in one place. So here I'm just for the sales, I'm going to create one particular instance. So instance is nothing but which you are targeting on only particular application. That also you can create. Nothing, it's not make big difference then. So how you are creating or in what is your requirement, based upon it you can create. The terminology wise you can call it as environment or instance, but usually in the professional way, in particular instance, if you have only one application, try to refer it as instance. If this has more than one application, try to refer it as environment. That will, I mean to say, the terminology what you are using, that will decide how much knowledge you have, right? As simple as that. That's not going to be a big difference, but to have the command on the subject, just go with this terminology, right? And organization URL is nothing but this is your organization URL, where in some scenarios we used to get, in some scenarios we are going to call this as organization URL and all, right? Uh, this is organization URL. And for each and every thing in the system, you are going to have the GUID. What is GUID? GUID is nothing but global unique identifier, right? That means for this tenant, I said for the tenant, it will have some GUID. For environment, it has some GUID. Now, if you are going to create a table in the system, it will have some separate GUID. If you are going to create some form in the system, for everything, it will have some GUID. So how this GUID, for if you are accessing the dynamic CRM in the URL, you are going to see this GUID that I'm going to show you where the GUID is. But GUID is nothing but that is global unique identifier. That is global unique identifier for each and every component. Whatever the component you are going to create in dynamic CRM, or whatever the data you are going to create in the CRM, for each and every data there will be some different GUID. That is, when if you want to investigate or if you want to troubleshoot the issue, you need to follow, you need to refer it with the GUID. And deployment, any organization or any type of software, what is deployment? You may regularly heard that in this weekend we have the deployment, we have the planning to deploy the solution. That means you have created some solution, or you have developed some application, and you are going to plan, or you are going to deploy the solutions there, right? You are going to release it to the production, or you are going to release it to the testing UAT. In that way you can create deployment process, right? So here in the instances here, as you know, before going with this, as we have the topic of instances here, I'm not sure if you are working with some IT companies or if you are familiar with the any of the other platforms as well. It is like regular thing. There will be different environments or different instances or different organization URLs will maintain for each and every company. That means now let's say for the same BMW, let's say now they will maintain the dev instance, right? Instance at QA for quality assurance. And then some of them will maintain the stage one or stage two or directly the UAT, that is user acceptance test. And they will create some production instance. What all these things? Now let's say I am the consultant, or I am the person who is going to give some solution to the BMW. So I can't work directly on the production, right? So I can't directly implement my solution or directly create my solution on the production, right? So in order to do that, I'm going to create one environment or one instance in such a way that the name is my interest. I can give any name in this way. This is my dev instance. In the same way, I can create another instance that is maybe QA, that is quality acceptance test, and then I will create another instance in this way. If you see the naming of it, I'm just giving some different instances and all, and this is my production. So here, what actually why this is required in the sense, now I will provide access to my developers or to my consultant who can configure the system or who can customize the system. I will provide access to this instance. So the developers will log into the system and will start implementing the application. Once this is done, I will move this solution to the QA. The process of moving the solution from one instance to another instance is nothing but the deployment. Oh, getting my point? This is like regular thing, not only for the Dynamics CRM, whatever the software life cycle you take. The deployment is the process where now let's say developer has developed something and you are moving this solution to QA so that quality acceptance team will have access to this instance and they will start testing this one. If they have any issues, again they will resend to the dev and they will repost to the dev. They will fix the issues and again it will come to the QA. Once they here it pass the test of QA, then the solution will be moved to the UAT instance and here user acceptance test. That means how the end user was going to use your system. I mean to say how the end user is going to use your system, like what type of data he is going to enter, whether the system is adopting, whether the system is accepting the data or not. This type of user acceptance testing, the test engineers will use to test. There is some manual testing or automation testing, everything. So here UAT will be performed in this particular thing. That means the test engineers will have access only to this instance. That's how we are going to organize everything in the admin centers. So to which users, to which instance should have access, that will be controlled in this Microsoft 365 admin center and Power Platform admin center. And this is your production. Once this testing process is done, if they said go ahead to move to the production, it is error-free solution. Then that will be deployed in the production so that the end user can access your application. Right? Getting my point? This is how in the Dynamics 365 we are going to create. Now let's come to this point. Here, this tenant, I said tenant, right? Once you purchase the license, once you logged into the system, or once you create an account with the Dynamics 365, the space will be allocated. That is nothing but your tenant, right? So whatever the instances, everything you are creating, that would be in this tenant only. Getting my point? Let me make help of the paint just to make you understand. So now let's say this is your, sorry. Now let's this is your Microsoft where it has some servers. It has different servers like US, UK, and different regions and all. I guess you are able to see my screen, right? Paint. Someone please confirm. Are you able to see my screen with the paint and all?
Yes,
Yes, it's
sir.
visible.
Yeah, thank you. So now let's say this is the one of the region where different users, Indian customers from India, US, UK, and different regions throughout the globe. Now, as an Indian customer, I purchased the license. So in this particular server, now let's try to understand. I mean to say, let's say this is like IND region. Let's say this is like IND region. So this is IND region. Now BMW is a company. Let's assume this is from India. I purchased the license. So they will allocate some space to me, space to be in this Indian region. This is my tenant. And in the same way, now BMW, like Audi car, would like to purchase some license, and they will allocate some from India. They will allocate some space. Their tenant here. So this is my tenant, and this is Audi cars. Now let's another customer's tenant. So that means there will be different tenants will be allocated. Now I am talking about the instances, right? So whatever the instances I am creating, that everything instances, every work, the environments will be created in this tenants. Just to make you understand, I'm making use of this particular paint. So whatever the environments or whatever the work I'm doing, that is performed, that everything will be taken care in this instance. The database, the resources, or the configurations, the customization, the plugins, or whatever you are doing, that everything in this tenant. This is like single tenant architecture where this tenant, this particular thing will be allocated only uh, only to that customer. As the point comes, let me explain you how the Salesforce will deals here. Of course, I'm just deviating something from the topic here. So now let's take the Salesforce here. So now let's say one of the bank, ABC Bank, if they purchase the license, they will allocate some space for the. Now let's say this is the bank, and this is for the automobiles maybe. They will divide the server, or they will configure in such a way. This is maybe for the banks. This is for the automobiles, and this is for the manufacturing platforms and all. Right now, if one of the bank, ABC Bank, approaches the Salesforce, they will allocate the space here for ABC Bank, and if CDEF Bank comes up, they will allocate the space here. That means in the same tenant, they are accommodating different customers which belongs to the same domain. Getting my point? This is like multi-tenant architecture. This is how the Salesforce will maintain. Coming to this the dynamic CRM, it will like here no confusion here. The complete box which I am referring it as one of the geolocation or Indian region maybe. So this is also like complete box with Indian region. If the Indian customers approaching the dynamics. This is the how they are dividing the partition. They are dividing the space and providing some tenant space there. Whereas in the below box is like Salesforce. Now this is like outer box full is like Indian region, and they have segregated the space in such a way that this is for one domain, this is for another domain, and this is for another domain. I mean to say, if I say if one of the banks, ABC Bank and DEF Bank, they will allocate the same tenant, and if another bank comes up, they will allocate the same space here, right? This is how the multi-tenant architecture. Now, if you see, this is one of the main reason where the costing is more is like difference between in costing perspective. This is one of the main reason where they are able to provide with a less cost, right? Now, as you know, ICICI Bank, one of the topmost, and Wells Fargo, one of the topmost, and I guess Canara Bank as well, and Bank of Baroda, I guess these all are like Microsoft customers, right? So this is how, just to give you an overview, and let's come back to our point here. Now this a tenant, and these are the instances, are the environments, right? These environments, everything will be created in this tenant. This is how it is going to be available in the backend, right? And then after this is like the terminology wise, what is tenant? At least you have some basic idea now what is tenant and how the space is getting allocated, and what is environment, you are aware of it. And instances, organization URL is nothing but this is your organization URL, and GUID for each and everything. For the tenant you have tenant GUID, for the organization you have organization ID GUID, and for the table you have GUID. Like that it will be everything for the GUID. And you know what is deployment? Deployment is nothing but once the solution is developed, that needs to be tested, that move to the another I mean to say, the process of moving solution from one instance to another instance, and from there to production, this entire process comes under deployment. So this is the thing where you need to understand before entering into this admin center. Now let's see actual part where actually you are going to see the Dynamics 365. Now after purchasing the license, what is the first thing here? So you need to set up your environment. So you need to set up the all the activities. I mean to say, as a BMW thing, top management, I have purchased the license. Now what would be the next action plan? I need to set up my environment. I mean to say, at least I need to create one instance there, right? After creating an instance, I need to create some users, my employees who are going to work there. Now let's say I need to have some solution. So for that, I need to create an environment, and I need to create an user, and I need to provide the access to this environment to that user. Then only the user can work on there. Then only the user can create some application there, right? So to start with this thing, to create this one, what is the cost? Try to understand that one. Let's try to understand. Now for that, Power Platform Admin Center, this comes into the picture. So this is used to create to create or manage instances, or you can call it as environments. So this Power Platform Admin Center, which is used to create or manage environments, whereas Microsoft 365 Admin Center will be used to create users and assign and their licenses. So this is used for this. Microsoft 365 is dedicated to use for these Microsoft environments to create users and their licenses. Microsoft 365 Admin Center will be used. Now let me open the one of the instance which I have. This is like trial instance again. One of the trial instance. I will explain you how to create the trial instance and all. But before going to it, let's try to understand how this Dynamics 365 looks like and everything, right? So maybe in the coming session, I will explain you how to create a trial account so that you can create your trial account on your own. Now let's say to start with this Dynamics Admin Center, the URL, you can simply make this URL admin dot keyboard. There is some issue with my keyboard actually. So you can use this particular instance, the URL https admin.powerplatform.com. It will automatically migrate to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. Otherwise, in the shortcut, you can also use aka.ms/pplan. So it will take you to the admin center page. That is Power Platform Admin Center page. Let's try. Here you could see admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. This automatically it will redirect. Now, if you say admin dot So if you hit on enter, it will take you to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com, and this is the page, or this is the first screen which you are going to see in the Dynamics CRM. Otherwise, in the shortcut, you can also use aka.ms/ppat. This is the thing. It will redirect to the same. So that means you can access the admin Power Platform Admin Center with these two URLs, right? So here, what actually we need to consider this in this Power Platform Admin Center? There is a lot of things, as you know, in the Microsoft. It is like vast thing where with the different applications, there different people are also using this particular Admin Center. All if you see the robotics, I mean to say RPA. RPA is one of the technology where some of the different separate projects are not. Even RPA data mining people also will use this Power Platform Admin Center. So that means there is some limitations for each and every engineers or the products. I mean to say, robotics or data mining engineers can also access this Power Platform Admin Center based upon their licenses and all, but they can't use all the application. That's purely based upon the licenses which we are going to provide. They will get access, right? So that's like different story. By end of these sessions, you can get some knowledge. Anyhow, in later, I am going to discuss that part as well. Now, this is the first place where Power Platform Admin Center looks like. Here you could see environments. Click on this environments. This is the place where we could see all the instances or whatever the environments you have created. Now, once you create a trial instance, by default, it will show one of the instance with the whatever the name you have provided for the instance with the default. So this default instance will be provided for each and every customer. You should not delete this default instance. This is the default instance which is created by the dynamic CRM. You should not delete this particular environment, right? And next thing, these are the environment which we created. So if you want to create an environment, simply there is a plus new button in the top. This is totally UI based, no need of scripting. There is no script and all. Majority 80% of the system can be done with the UI based only. So no need of scripting, right? So of course, for the plugins and JavaScript, you require C# and this thing. But coming to this thing, functional side, 85% or 90%, there is no script. It is totally UI based. So here in the admin center, now we already discussed it, right? These are the instances is required. So to start working with my instance, I need to create one instance, right? Or I need to create one environment. How to create? As I said, Power Platform Admin Center is the admin center where you can create or manage environments. So this is the place where I can create an instance. There is a plus this as a trial account. It will give you only 1 GB space, which is not sufficient to create multiple or different environments in a system. But I will make you understand how to create in the next session while talking with the create trial instance and all. But before to it, let's try to understand what is this instance and what other things which we need to check here. Here, this is the environment admin. These are the environment which I have in the system. Maybe my management has created this instance, right? To explore this instance, here you could see the name of the instance is sales trial, and the type is this is like trial account. And the state is ready, that means you can use it. The dataverse is yes, that means it has some database. Is it managed or unmanaged? No. Region is India. So this is like some of the primary information which it provides. To explore this instance, click on it. Here you could see the window which provides all the properties of this environment. This environment URL is nothing but this is the URL where you need to use to access the instance. If you click on this instance, it will take you to the instance. This is actually your instance or environment where the consultants are going to work here. This is the sales hub. In the demo session, we are just referring, right? In the Dynamics 365 CE, we need to learn marketing, sales, service, and field service, right? This is one of the application of sales hub application. If you see, this is like brand new trial account. Trial account, that means we have not done anything. Simply, we purchased the license. I mean to say, we took the license, trial license, and then we just created an environment. So that means automatically the system will, while creating an environment, it will ask whether I need to create a dataverse or not. If you go with yes, automatically it will create all this particular functionality for you. As I said, right, Dynamic CRM has some research and development team throughout the globe. Whatever the functionality required, they will have some analysis, and based upon it, they placed all this functionality. right? So this is how the instance looks like. So regarding this navigations and all, to UI introduction, we'll talk it later. First, let's complete this Power Platform Admin Center. Yeah, in this environment, if you click on the sales state, here the URL which you need to log into the system. I mean to say this is the URL where you can access your instance or not. The state is ready. That means you can access it. Region is India. What is this region? So that means as the user in the previous paint version in this paint I have explained, right? For each and every region they will maintain different servers there. That means they will maintain, here you need to refer the name it as data centers. They will maintain different data center based upon the geolocations, right? If you are from the customer, you are customer from the India, they will allocate the geolocation of India. If you are from US, they will allocate USA region, right? In that way, they will maintain different regions there, right? And the trial, as it is trial, it shows 32 days remaining. And what is the security group? Security group is nothing but this is the beauty of Dynamics CRM. It has like more, it's like complex security. It will maintain. I mean to say, it will in the Dynamics CRM we are able to maintain security for the instance level or the environment level or the table level, or in the table if you have hundreds of records, row level. In the rows you have multiple fields, right? I mean to say, if you take any record of student record, student number, student name, student address and all, right? So you can also have the security on particular column of that particular row. That means these level securities we can implement in the Dynamics here. So here in this administrator, in this particular Power Platform Admin Center, this security group refers to. Now let's say here in this example, I mentioned dev instance, QA instance, UAT, and production, right? Now, if I want to provide, now let's say here in the dev instance, I have three users, Suresh, Mahesh, and Naresh. These are the three developers which I am going to use these three resources as my developers. And for the other 1, 2, 3 users, I have a QA, and 4, 5, 6, I have UAT. That means for the UAT user, even though he is my employee, even though he is my employee, I should not provide access for the dev for this UAT. That's how companies work, right? So if he is not the developer, why should I give access to my dev instance, right? That's how you are going to maintain the security system. Sorry. And so that's how you are going to maintain the security. So for this, how you are going to maintain the security, and with the simple thing, with the simple option like security group. That means once you create an instance, for this instance, I'm going to create a security group. That means just I'm giving some name there, security group like dev group, so that I'm adding the users to this dev group, and I will assign this dev group to this particular environment. Simple. That means even though I have the users in the system, that users can't access my system, my instance until I'm adding that user to the security group. That means that is very easy to maintain this type of security concept in the Dynamics 360. This refers to the security group. Here I'm just giving the introduction part of Admin Center. I'm not going to explain you today like how to create the security groups and all. Just giving you an overview of Power Platform Admin Center, how it works. So later in the later session, I'm going to explain you how to create an environment, how to create a security group, and what is these data centers, and everything will be explained. But in the first session, just try to understand the terminologies here and what actually it refers to, how the screen looks like, and how it refers to, so that you will get some basic knowledge before going in depth into the topics, right? And organization ID, here it shows, as I mentioned, for everything there is some different IDs. This is how the GU ID looks like. This is nothing but organization ID. This is the GU ID, global unique identifier. For each and everything, it will maintain some GU IDs, right? This is environment ID, and who created this one? The created user, right? And auditing is like very important. As you know, what is auditing? I mean to say, in general. Now, as a BMW company, I'm dealing with thousands of customers. So the customer's data is more priority or more secure, more important to me to make the business, right? Or the customer data is more important to me. So if anything is happening with the data, I mean to say, now let's say there is some record, like Suresh is interested to purchase a BMW car. This is one of the record available in the system. and I made some interactions with your agent, BMW sales agent or customer service agent. So what's happening with my Suresh record? So if what the changes you are making in the database, you are making in the database. So your employees was updating something there. They should maintain some audit, right? So for each and every action, for each and every interaction, it will maintain the auditing. The Dynamic 365 will maintain the auditing. So even though you can have the auditing, if anyone accessing the record, that means if anyone is viewing the record, that type of auditing also can be maintained in the Dynamic 365. That's purely up to the organization thing, where if they want to go with the auditing, they can enable this auditing. If they don't want, they can disable the auditing. But the main constraint here is it will occupy more space if you are enabling the auditing. So that's the reason, if whatever the mandatory tables or whatever the mandatory fields or columns in the table, only for that particular tables, this particular organizations will enable this auditing. Otherwise, it will unnecessarily consume more space. It is more cost to the companies. But in general, for the important tables, each and every company will enable this auditing. Just enabling the auditing is simple. Here you can click on the manage and go with yes or no. You can start auditing or not. This is how the auditing will be started. If you have any, I mean to say, any changes to that particular table records or the data, that auditing will be captured and it will maintain in the system. So if anything happens, they can use this auditing for the investigation, or for the what happened with the record to understand. They can use that auditing thing. And this is most important, which you need to understand the version, right? For each and everything, for solution, there should be some versions, right? Currently, the CRM version is, this is the current CRM version, like 9.2, 9.x, right? 9.2. So you can simply refer to it as 9.2. So you know, like, why the version is in this way, 9.2.25025. That means that 1.1.1.1. This is the format. Not only this one, if you take the Chrome as well, Chrome, where it is about, yeah. Here, if you see the Chrome as well, this in general they will follow 1.1.1.1. This is the format, right? So why, in the sense, there is some in the global level, for each and every software they will maintain this format. Here we are going to refer it as major. 9 is major, and second one is minor, and third one is revision, build. This is not only for the Microsoft. This is how it refers to. You may aware of it, but not, if not, then you can have a note on this. So this is what the points will refer to. So why this is required, in the sense, this will make you understand what is the current version of any software. And by seeing this, we can understand. Uh, Here, if you see, this is like 9.2 is the major version, and 2 minor. 25024 revisions happened on 180 build. That means, in a simple way, to make this simple, in this year, Microsoft has deployed or built 180 times. They have applied the build. That means maybe error fix or maybe new functionality implemented. They have done 180 times. They have applied the build for this particular solution. And in this 180 builds, they have done these many revisions. What is revision? Maybe they have implemented some logic. There may be a bug for it. They have refixed it, or they have changed the color, they have changed the label name, or they have fixed some issues, whatever, right? It's like almost 25K revisions has done in this year in this 180 builds. This is how you need to understand or analyze what's happening with the system, right? This is just for your basic information. And coming to the Microsoft here, how they are maintaining these updates. This is very important. Very important. As you know, once we have the software, that needs to be keep on updated, right? If there is any new features in the market, as you know, Salesforce is another competitor. They need to keep an eye on it. What are the new functionalities getting released, or what is the new research done by Microsoft? If they want to release some new functionality to the customers, they are keep on updating the softwares. Not only with that, they need to fix the, if there is any product issues or product bugs which is raised by client, they need to update that. They need to fix the issues as well, right? So that in this scenario, they will, Microsoft planned the two things here. One is update, in the update perspective, every week, sorry, every year, MS has, I'm just referring it as MS Microsoft. Every year MS has two major releases. Two major releases. And every week they have one minor release. This is how the Microsoft will plan. That means I said every week they have one minor release. That means now if you see here, current version of Microsoft is 9.2.25024.180. Today is Wednesday, right? By end of this week or 14th or 15th, you can notice some change here. In these two things, you can notice the changes here. Maybe the build will be 181 and the revisions will be some extra revisions will be added. So every week this will be updated. That means the Microsoft is keeps on updating their product. Microsoft was helping the customers to fix the errors, and it is in the back end. They may be having some patch updates, maybe some privacy things, whatever. They are doing some background activities. Every week they have some minor updates, but this is not going to affect your solution or the customers or the clients in any way, right? This is not going to affect your functionality. And this is like every week they have one minor release. And what about this major releases? This is very important. Microsoft will plan in such a way that every year in the month of October and in the month of April, they have two releases. Now let's say that they are going to refer it as wave one release. This will be applied in the April, in the month of April, right? And there will be release of wave two. This is applied in the month of October. This is same for every year. Every year they are going to release two major releases. One is wave one and another one is wave two. What is this major release? Major release in the sense they may be implementing the new functionalities, right? They may be implementing the new functionalities or the look and feel may be changed. These major activities will be performed in this wave one and wave two only. And coming to this minor releases, they are not going to touch or they are not going to implement any new functionalities. They will simply maintain the product, or if there is any bugs, they will fix the bugs in this minor releases. And coming to this major releases, wave one and wave two, it will maintain wave one and wave two. They are going to change if the new functionalities is there. They are going to introduce the functionalities in the wave one and wave two. If you see this admin center here, this is the current version. You can also note here. I mean to say in the next week you could see the change in these two factors. Right? And here the updates you see 2025 release wave one. That means now we are in the 2025. We are in the month of March. So wave one is already available in the market for the 2025 release wave one. If you want to see the current version, you can also see here. Let's open the instance. Once you are open this instance, in the top you could see the gearbox or settings icon. Then click on the about here. Here 2024 release wave 2. That means in the year of 2024, two releases, the major releases already done. That is wave 1 and wave 2 already done. Right? Wave 2 enabled. So this current version is 2024 release wave 2 only. So if you want to have the new thing there, that's my admin center. So here you could see 2025 release wave 1 is available. That means this preview is available. By month of April, this will automatically install. So that means you can't stop this particular releases in the system. You can't stop or you can't ignore applying this wave one to your instance. So you may ask the question, right? Whether if the Microsoft is implementing this type of if the Microsoft is going to release this type of releases for every year twice, whether it is going to affect my instance or not? No, absolutely no. But there may be some chance for that they will release this preview one month before. I mean to say, in the April end, by end of this April, throughout the globe, every instance is going to have this update, even though you go with it or not. But before that, one month earlier, it is providing in your it is allowing you to test this particular wave one. That means you can also click on manage here and update now. That means once I click on this update now, what will happen? The version will be updated to 2025 release wave 1. Here, all available updates will start at once. Only once this is done, you can see all the functionality. What is the new functionality implemented? What are the changes implemented that you can test in your test instance? And you should be prepared with the April version. you should be prepared with this thing by testing in your test instance. That's the Microsoft recommendation, but it's already 9:56 now. So to discuss in detail in this, in the tomorrow session, I'm going to explain you what is this release schedules and how the data centers will be maintained and how wave 1 and wave 2 is going to work in your system. That's I'm going to discuss in the tomorrow session, as it's almost 9:56, and if I start discussing this, this will go beyond 10. So we'll discuss this later. But for now, just to conclude, we have two major releases for the application. That is wave 1 and wave 2. Wave 1 will appear in April and wave 2 will be appeared in October. That means throughout the globe, this will be automatically updated. This will be automatically updated in their production instances. All their production instances will be updated with this wave 1 and wave 2. Right, and minor releases also is the same. Without your customer intervention or without the client knowledge, it will automatically update by the system, by the Microsoft in the backend. As you know, you are using the cloud based will work in that way only, right? So that just to enhance their I mean to say enhance their functionality and all, they are going to apply these changes. And so just to conclude for now, today we just discussed the licensing thing. I mean to say, just I provided the licensing guide where you can explore on your own. Sorry. And coming to the admin center, there is three types of admin centers we have in the Dynamics CRM. That is Power Platform Admin Center, which is used to manage environments or create environments, and Microsoft 365 Admin Center to create users and provide license to the user, and Azure just to have the login in the Dynamics level, Dynamics CRM level. Just you can have the knowledge, you can get the audit related information from the Azure, and also to provide access to some of the applications by using this Azure. And the terminology which we send tenant, environment, instances, organization URL, GUID, and deployment. Just given the basic points of what is this terminology and all. And regarding the deployment, I make use of this thing and explain you the deployment and all. Right. And coming to this Power Platform Admin Center, this is the navigation URL where you can access the Power Platform Admin Center, and for the Microsoft 365, you can create the users. And current version of Dynamics CRM is 9.2.xxx. This is the version, and what actually this version that I have explained with this major, minor revision and build. And coming to the updates, there is every week we have the minor update for the product, for the solution or the application. And every year we have two major releases. That is wave 1 and wave 2. That is April and October is the wave 1 and wave 2 will appear. In the tomorrow session, we are going to see what is data centers, what is the release schedule, and how this major releases is going to affect the users. That center will discuss in the tomorrow session. And also in the tomorrow session, we are going to see how to create a trial instance and to practice and all. In the tomorrow session, I'm going to explain all this stuff. Yeah, that's it from my end for today. Please let me know if you have any questions on today's or yesterday's topic, so that I'm happy to assist. And one more thing, as admin team requested, please drop your phone numbers and email IDs in the WhatsApp group as well, so that the team will share you the meeting notes, whatever the session notes, as well as the YouTube link to you. So please don't forget to drop your phone number and mail IDs in the WhatsApp group as well. Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
This is my first class. Yesterday class I have not listened. I want yesterday's class video.
Okay, Naveen. So in the WhatsApp group, you are in the WhatsApp group or not, Naveen?
No, sir, I am not in WhatsApp group.
Yeah, please ping your phone number here in the chat so that
Yeah,
the admin
today
team.
now only I have shared my phone number.
Okay, they will take care of it. They will add you in the WhatsApp group. In the same WhatsApp group, you are going to get the yesterday's video and class notes as well.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as I said, nothing much for you today to do the tasks and all, as we are in the early thing. Once you create a trial instance, you are going to get daily tasks, and just go through the notes as well. And today the task would be just go through the licensing guide so that you can get some, you will be familiar with the terminology at least. So while you are reading something, or it's almost 65 pages. So don't go with one by one. Just randomly scroll it so that at least you can understand what are the points they are referring to. What are the, I mean to say, the tables like licenses, field service, or accounts, tables, different terminology, right? So if you have time, just go through it randomly, so that from the tomorrow, once you created a trial instance, you can start exploring the instances. Yeah, that's it. If no questions, we can wind up the session. If any questions, please let me know, or you can also ping in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I will take the silence as no questions and we'll wind up the session for today. Yeah, sorry, someone.
Yeah, no questions.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks for joining, and we'll daily the class will be the same time, 9 to 10. Please try to log in on time. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Suresh.